Let's bring in Daniel Tisch. He is the president and CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for sticking around. I know we have a few minutes, but we need to hear from the Prime Minister. What did you think of what the Prime Minister had to say in terms of the substance, but also the tone of what he had to say there following his meeting with the premiers?
Well, I thought it was really interesting, Andrew, because Mark Carney really came across like a wartime leader, right? And what's the job of a wartime leader? It's make decisions under pressure, it's mobilize resources, and it's inspire public support. And I think you heard a few messages from him that I thought were really interesting. You heard a sense of pragmatism, that unity is his priority, right? And so he's not going to be a stickler. He's not going to stand on principle if it's going to get in the way of that prime directive of unity, right? So it's kind of a yes and approach. It's an all of the above approach. So he talked about the energy corridor, protecting the economy of today, but also can help us build the economy of tomorrow, critical minerals, for example. You heard him talk, I think, about controlling what we can and managing expectations about the rest, right? You heard him talk about the tests of a good deal, that it's got to preserve and reinforce and stabilize our relationships, but also not tie our hands. And so I read that as on stuff like ensuring we procure more from Canadian businesses. We want to be able to do that. Building new trade relationships, we want to be able to do that. And we got to get busy building those relationships. You heard some caution, I think, about specific measures to support specific sectors, which I think is reasonable right now because, again, it's very fluid. We don't know the situation we're going to be facing exactly on August 2nd or frankly, ever, it seems these days with this administration in Washington. And finally, I think you saw him trying to build confidence, right? Give people a bit of a pep talk and in a sense that we can get through this. And I think the premiers clearly are giving him the benefit of the doubt, and so are most Canadians right now.
What did you make of, David mentioned this, and it was, and maybe Canadians will be heartened to hear this because we know that businesses have suffered and there is a lot of anxiety and concern over the tariffs from Donald Trump and the trade war he's inflicted on us. But Mark Carney saying the phone's ringing off the hook. He's met with close to 80 leaders. There are people in this world that want to do business in this country. Do you feel that reflected from the business leaders that you speak to? That despite some of the issues that we have with the United States, that the phone's ringing off the hook?
Well, I guess you've got to be careful about painting it all with too broad a brush, right? There are a lot of businesses, a lot of workers, a lot of communities that are struggling and suffering a lot right now. And they probably wouldn't say the phone is ringing off the hook. They're saying, we're trying to save the furniture. And I'm also hearing there are a lot of businesses, they're not necessarily losing revenue, but their profit margins are being squeezed and squeezed very, very hard. But the biggest thing, I think, is that investment decisions in both the US and Canada are being postponed, right? No one's investing right now because they don't know what the lay of the land is going to be in the future. So yes, are there opportunities? Are we bullish about those opportunities? Absolutely, right? But it will take, it's like steering a big ship. It'll take a while, I think, for Canadian businesses to have the resources and the know-how and the access to capital and everything else they need to reorient their businesses to diversify to more export markets. But at least we're starting. We're coming from behind. But I like our odds because the sense of unity and alignment between the premiers and the Prime Minister and the business community, I think, are pretty exciting right now.
Daniel, thank you for being patient and taking the time through all this. I appreciate your insight. Thank you. Daniel Tisch is the president and CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce.